So it's very easy to make money. You have got a captive audience, pun, very much intended product. Any product you're selling in prison to your audience 3, 4, 5 times the cost of it on the out. Yeah, no bobbies knocking at your door, no surveillance, fairly risk-free dealing and making big bucks. And people do make big bucks. Prison staff haven't got the time. Nobody's interested. Authorities aren't interested. What happens behind doors and behind walls in prisons, no one is interested. So I stood on a wing on my own, 86 prisoners. I've been watching throughout the evening what was going on. Quite definitely, one lad was supplying and about 5 lads were running on that wing. Anything you can put up your nose, smoke, or stick in your arm. The night ended up with me on my own. I hadn't seen the officer all night, the other officer, in confrontation with the lad. He was well known in Salford. I got on with him. He gave me the opportunity to save face and walk away, which I appreciated, or I would have definitely got filled in, battered. Double bubble. We used to laugh and joke about it with prisoners and staff. You go into prison, your first week, you borrow ½ ounce of tobacco. Double bubble, you pay back an ounce. Anything you borrow, you pay back double. Nothing is free in prison. Best advice to anyone going into prison, don't accept or borrow anything off anyone. Family member, maybe. Best mate on the out, maybe. But everything comes at a price. So you knew your first night, you're worried. Do you want something to help you sleep? You accept. The next night, a little more. Yeah. End of the week, you owe 30 quid. You have a loving family who are going to send you money into prison. You may buy canteen to that value and pass it on to the person you're in debt to, but then there's them that's got nothing. You can run up a debt very quickly. Mobile phones, when I was in the private sector, were aplenty. They weren't as secure as a lot of places. Young people, inexperienced people, not the best procedures maybe. Mobile phones, when I was in the private sector, used to go out the security department covertly in a bag. Literally hundreds of them. You used to get fined for declaring a mobile phone having been found. They wouldn't have been able to make a profit. When I went to Strangeways in the high security estate, not so many phones. A mobile phone find was a big thing. Now they're everywhere. And what are they? They're a means to contact your family members. So you're in debt in prison. It can be a lonely place if you're in debt. You stand alone. You're not part of any gang, any crime family. You don't have any associates. You text your mum. Or worse still, you give your mum's number to somebody. Or your nans. Or your guardians. Or your partners, wives. You get a menacing text. Pay this here or else your loved one is going to get slashed. Your loved one is going to get napalmed. Sugar and hot water. You go to the police, they're not interested. It's nothing to do with social media. So you phone the prison security department. That's if they've still got one. Lots haven't. They don't have a budget. How any prison or the prison system can function without a security department is beyond me. You speak to an officer. I've had a text from your prison. My son's in debt. We can't protect him. I suggest you pay that debt. That's great advice. You can't protect everyone. Not a chance. Why are drugs or how are drugs in prison? Drugs have been going into prison since the very first prison opened. We're never going to stop it. Of late, corruption through the roof. Staff are taking drugs in. Recruited to get jobs as prison officers and take drugs in. The darker side inside, you're in debt. See that lad over there? You're going to napalm him. You're now dealing for me. You do my dirty work. What do you do again? You're on a wing, no friends, no support, no staff are going to help you. They can't. Prison staff now are getting by, feeding, maybe giving people a couple of showers a week and a bit of fresh air or exercise. There's not enough to run regimes. Drugs are plenty. Anything you can smoke, stick up your nose, stick in your arm, which is less popular now. They don't need to with the products that are out there. Or pop, 3, 4, 5 times more expensive. The outrage. Imagine being someone now who has a loved one in prison. And all those people, you always get them, don't go to prison. Listen, I've come close in my life, as have friends. Some of them people in there are in for low level crime, while absolute monsters right now are walking away from court and not going to prison because they're full. Another thing nobody's mentioned, we've been building new prisons, but the capacity's gone up, or not gone up as the case may be. Why is that? We see a lot of prisons, like my prison, Strangeways, have gone from 1200 capacity to maybe 600-700. A lot of cells that were double cells, they've made single cell, which is no bad thing. However, some people used to be like to be padded up with someone. The private sector in new prison building got it off right. 2 landings, the bottom landing were double cells. If you want to be in with your mate, there you go. The upper landing, single cells. Problem solved. We need to let people out of prison. And all them people, again, who are going to moan, whine that drugs are in prison, take a step back. We have Russian, Chinese, Albanian, Turkish, mafia, and many more in this country now. This country, I believe, second greenest country on the planet. Hooray, we're going to get taxed and hammered for that, while places like China and India go full steam ahead. We make no difference to this alleged global warming. However, we are the second biggest users of Colombian marching powder on the planet. Don't be shocked, drugs are plenty. We've not educated our kids, have we? We have a whole generation, Gen Z, who are weak, and that's not a criticism. They're being bombarded by social media. They're being bombarded by people telling them you can be a chicken or a kestrel or even a mouse. You can be anything you want. They're all going
real porridge, forecast, real people, real stories, real